there is one thing that I stay stocked up on in my kitchen, it is tinned fish. I like to have a variety of tinned fish in my cupboards at all times. So sardines, mackerel, salmon, tuna, anchovies, all of them. I think it's common knowledge, most of us know by now just how brain boosting and skin loving these foods are. So I'm going to be sharing 5 vibrant, gorgeous, beautiful tinned fish recipes with you. Let me know in the comments what your favorite go-to tinned fish lunch recipe is. How do you incorporate tinned fish? What is your favorite tinned fish? I think mackerel's having a moment in my kitchen. It's kind of hard to choose between mackerel and sardines. They're kind of on the same level for me right now. I am enjoying them both equally. Let's jump straight into these lunch recipes. I know you're gonna love them. Let's go. The wild garlic frenzy continues. I cannot stop using it. Every year when it's in season, I'm obsessed with making my wild garlic potato salad. Today I thought, what fish can I pair it with? What fish would work well with a potato salad? And salmon came to mind. We're gonna make this wild garlic, salmon, long bean, crispy caper, potato salad. Every element in this recipe is going to blow your mind. If you haven't tried crispy capers, let me tell you, this is the recipe to try it with. They are a game changer. This one would work well for meal prep. It's also just great as a sharing side. I have no doubt that you're gonna love it as much as I do. This one is so special.
This might be a strong contender for one of the best potato salads that I make. I often eat fresh salmon, but there are occasions where I grab a tin of salmon, like with this recipe. Tin salmon is packed with omega-3s, great for your brain, your skin, super high in protein, so it's just going to bring about that balance for this potato salad. For today, I'm using some shallot potatoes. Jersey Royals are also another favorite of mine to use for this recipe. So we'll be needing some wild garlic, which is in its prime right now at this moment in time. So if you don't have access to wild garlic or it's no longer in season, you could use lots of fresh green herbs in place, and then you could grate in some fresh garlic. So don't stress. We'll be needing some long beans. Gonna throw some spring onions in there and lots of lemons. So starting off by chopping up our potatoes, I just chopped mine into 4, and then I placed them into some heavily salted water and just boiled them until they were cooked. So we're gonna move on and prep all of the other ingredients so as finely as possible, because we really just wanna break down all of that flavor in the wild garlic. When we add the chopped wild garlic to the warm potatoes, all of that aroma is going to be released. Have I said it enough? Finally chop your wild garlic. I kind of go in between using spring onions and shallots, so you could use either. Yeah, whatever you prefer, you can work this recipe to suit what you love. So we'll either need to boil, blanch, or steam our long beans. You can choose how you cook them. You could put them into the same water that you cook the potatoes with. I just chose to steam mine. For the touch of all touches, the flavor bomb that is going to be added to this recipe by crisping up these capers. I have a feeling that if you're not a caper fan, you are going to love them cooked like this. Simple tricks like this in the kitchen, like just crisping up some capers, will just completely change the profile of a recipe. That olive oil is going to be caper infused, so if you want to use that olive oil later on, you totally can. Now it's just time to assemble everything. So go ahead and open up that tin of salmon, which we're going to add in a moment. So it's really important that you combine everything when those potatoes are hot. Okay, so you've got to strike quick. So place those potatoes into a bowl along with the long beans, the spring onions, wild garlic, some extra virgin olive oil. Like I said, use that olive oil from the capers. That caper infused olive oil is going to add so much flavor. Some butter, some Dijon mustard, and some salt and pepper. That butter is going to melt. That wild garlic is going to be brought to life with the warmth from the potatoes. You can go ahead, rinse off your tin salmon and place that in along with those crispy capers and just combine. Every year, like clockwork, I make this during springtime and it just gets better year after year. I will never, ever, ever stop loving this one right here. For me, the tin salmon is just such a wonderful addition. This also makes for a great meal prep. If you wanted to, you could add some extra like soft boiled or hard boiled eggs on top for some more protein. This is such a stunning recipe that I really, really hope that you try out.
I mentioned that Mackerel was having a moment in my kitchen, and if there is one lunch that has been on repeat, it is this one right here. This is my mackerel, crispy white bean, beetroot, goat's cheese, pickled red onion, and radicchio salad. Everything and more that I would want on my dream lunch plate. You guys know how I feel about beetroot and the combination with the goat's cheese and then the pickled red onions. Then you throw some mackerel on top. Listen, this one is going to deliver big time, no doubt about it.
The different layers of flavor within this dish is what makes it so satisfying. I've basically combined all of my lunchtime favorites onto one plate. great and it works like a dream. The flavor profile of this recipe is something else. Mackerel is one of the best sources of omega-3s. It's such a wonderful fish to use, a really easy way to add real nourishment into your day. So if you're just getting into tinned fish and you just kind of want to ease your way into it, maybe don't start with sardines, maybe start with something a little bit more approachable like mackerel. So for the crispy beans, we'll be needing some cooked white beans. So tinned or carton beans will work really well. I'm using some jarred beans for today. So my favorite vegetable, beetroot, I talk about it all the time. I always have some cooked up, ready to just chop up and throw into anything. If you'd prefer, you can find some vacuum packed, ready cooked beetroot in the supermarket and it will work perfectly too. So we'll be adding some goat's cheese, but obviously if you don't do dairy, you can just leave it out. Some radicchio, which is incredible for you. It's a really bitter leaf, which is the reason why I think a lot of people get put off. But if you know how to cut through the bitterness by creating a delicious dressing, this will be one of the most enjoyable leaves that you try. So for the dressing, we're going to be using lots of fresh lemons, lots of fresh dill, Dijon mustard. We're going to start off by making up a jar of pickled red onions that we're going to use in this recipe, but we're also going to use in some other recipes too. So we want to make up enough. So finely chopping up the red onions and placing them into a jar. In a little bowl, just whisk together some vinegar. I'm using some red wine vinegar, some salt, some sugar, and some warm water. So make sure that the red onions are submerged in all of the liquid. You can place your jar into the fridge and your pickled red onions will be ready in like 15-20 minutes. So for the crispy white beans, we're just going to rinse them off well. So we're going to flavor these up a bit using some garlic powder, some smoked paprika, some ground cumin, some oregano, black pepper, salt, and a good swirl of olive oil, just mixing, making sure that all of the beans are covered well. So grabbing a flat baking tray, I just lined mine with some parchment paper. I placed those beans on and then I placed them into a preheated oven of about 200 degrees and just left them in there for about 20 to 25 minutes until they were golden and crispy. So moving on to the dressing, this is going to be the dressing to just mellow the bitterness from that radicchio and just make it really enjoyable. So we're going to combine some extra virgin olive oil with some lemon, some Dijon mustard, some salt and some pepper, and just whisk everything. Once whisked, we can just throw in lots and lots of fresh dill, a basic dressing that never fails. You can add in any herbs that you enjoy. If you'd prefer to add in some parsley, that would work. So time to assemble everything. I just grabbed my cooked beetroot and just removed the skin and then just chop them into kind of like half moon pieces like this, but you can chop them into whatever shape you want to. I grabbed some radicchio leaves and opened up my tin of mackerel fillets. This is what they look like. And yeah, just assembled the salad. So along with the radicchio, I thought it would be nice to add some rocket because I had some, which is arugula if you're in the States. I placed on top that cooked beetroot along with those golden crispy white beans, which were absolutely delicious. Crispy on the outside and soft on the inside, perfect. I placed over some goat's cheese, that mackerel, and I just threw on top all of that lemony dressing along with some pickled red onions. If you asked me what my ideal lunch would be, it would be something like this every single time. A balance of all foods that I genuinely love and enjoy. And then to top it all off, including something like mackerel, one of the best foods for your brain. This one is incredible.
It's only right that we use tuna to make a pasta salad. I mean, you could use any fish. I've even used sardines before to make a sardine pasta salad, which is delicious, but we're gonna stick with the classic tin of tuna for today. We're gonna whip up this almost caramelized shallot dressing, which will just transform this pasta salad.
So we'll be needing some tin tuna, which I reckon is probably a pantry staple for most of us. Some pasta of choice and pasta shape of choice. You can use whatever you desire. Some shallots for this really almost jammy caramelized dressing that we're going to put together. We're needing some feta, some olives, sun-dried tomatoes, and just for an extra hit of plant protein, I'm going to add in some chickpeas, which actually work really, really well. Apart from cooking the shallots and boiling the pasta, this recipe is very straightforward. It's essentially just assembling all of the ingredients. So we're going to finely chop up a few shallots, and then we're going to heat a pan with a little drizzle of some extra virgin olive oil, and we're just going to place those shallots in. So Start on like a low to medium heat and just be patient with them. Give them a few minutes. They will eventually soften, and that's the stage that we want them at. For the dressing, we're gonna combine some extra virgin olive oil with some balsamic. We really want that sweet little kick from the balsamic vinegar. Some Dijon mustard. You're probably familiar with the fact that I add Dijon mustard into everything. Some red pepper flakes, not to get confused with red chili flakes, although if you did want to add some chili flakes in, that would work also. A little touch of thyme, which will just add this ever so subtle extra oomph to this dressing. Some fresh lemon juice and some salt and pepper. Just whisk everything. Once combined, you can go ahead and add in those cooked jammy shallots, and my goodness, this dressing, this is probably going to be the dressing of the season for me, maybe even the dressing of the year. It is something else. It's delicious. It's sweet from the balsamic vinegar and those shallots, and it's got that little hint of thyme. Yes, please. So go ahead and put your pasta to boil in some salted water, and then we can prep all of the remaining ingredients, which includes just chopping up some olives. If you want to keep them whole, that will be fine. I just fancy chopping mine. So go ahead and chop up some sun-dried tomatoes. You can add as many as you want. If you look at this recipe, you'll see I didn't actually add in many. I added in like 4 or 5, just because I like them just in the background, you know? I don't want them to be like the main star. That's just my personal preference, but yeah, work it how you want to. I chopped up some fresh cucumber, just removing the center so the pasta salad doesn't get soggy. And then I just chopped up lots and lots of fresh parsley and dill. So draining the pasta, I just ran it under some cold water just so it didn't stick together. So assembling everything, I placed the cooked pasta into the bowl along with the olives, sun-dried tomatoes, chopped cucumber, the tinned tuna, some crumbled feta, all of those fresh herbs, the parsley and the dill. And then I just poured over that sweet shallot dressing and then just combined everything. I then remembered, oh my goodness, I didn't add in the chickpeas, so I placed those in. And yeah, just gave everything one final stir. If you want to take a pasta salad to the next level, this is one way in which you can do it. That shallot dressing is everything. Super high in protein from the tuna, extra added fiber and protein from the chickpeas. It's layered with the right combination of flavors and textures, and all of the ingredients keeps so well, so it's perfect for meal prep.
Over the years, I've shared with you random ways in which I like to incorporate sardines, but today we're going to keep it pretty simple. We're just going to make a sardine focaccia sandwich. I've got this lovely bread. We're going to make up some sweet roasted harissa peppers, a little bit of wild garlic left over, so I'm going to make a really quick pesto.
So yeah, we're going to be using the ultimate skin glow tinned fish. They are just having a moment right now. Being able to find a good quality tin of sardines in olive oil these days is like finding gold. Oh my goodness, it's almost impossible. I managed to grab some the other day, so I'm feeling very happy about that. And I don't think the hype's going to end because it's hype with substance. Like, it makes sense. This is just a fantastic food. So I just had some random peppers. That's why I thought, let me put these to roast. But honestly, you could roast some courgettes, you could roast some aubergine, you could roast some red onions, add a little touch of harissa paste just to give them a little spicy flair. Lots and lots of peppery rocket and a little touch of wild garlic just for that base layer for our sandwich. And if you're wondering where I got my focaccia, I picked this up from Dusty Knuckles, which, yeah, they just do some great bread. So starting off by preparing these roasted harissa peppers, I just simply chopped mine up, grabbed a baking sheet and placed them on. If you want to roast them whole and then peel the peppers, you can do that, but I'm just making it easy for myself. For the little harissa marinade, I just combined some olive oil with that harissa and just poured it over. I'm placing on a little bit of salt also. Just whack the tray into a 190°C preheated oven, and I left the peppers in there probably for about 30 to 35 minutes. So with a few little leaves of leftover wild garlic, I made up this pesto. So placing the wild garlic with some olive oil into the pestle and water, I just began crushing everything. This was very, very therapeutic. I thoroughly enjoyed doing this. Then placed in some salt, some lemon juice. I had some pine nuts, so I thought, why not just add some pine nuts? We're making a pesto, so it just made sense. So I just toasted some pine nuts until they were golden. I placed those in, combined everything again, and then I placed in a little bit of Parmesan to finish. Another essential recipe when wild garlic is in season. I wish I could have made up a bigger portion of this, but with the few wild garlic leaves that I had, I'll take what I can. So you can give your pesto a little taste and just adjust. Mine needed a little touch of lemon juice. Removing those peppers from the oven. If you want, you can remove the skin. I am fine with the skin on, so I'm leaving them on. and I just chopped them up. So assembling this sandwich, I chopped my focaccia in half and I placed on that delicious wild garlic pesto along with some rocket, those roasted red peppers, and then simply opened up my tin of sardines and just placed them on top with a little squeeze of lemon juice, some extra roasted red peppers because I had plenty. I finished off the sandwich with some feta, another drizzle of that wild garlic pesto. This one right here, this one is heavenly. Oh my goodness. If you're at the stage where you can use sardines as a sandwich filler, then you have to try this one out. Combination of those roasted harissa peppers with that wild garlic pesto. This is a great way to use a tin of sardines at lunchtime. You could definitely prep the peppers before and simply just assemble everything.
Anchovies are the base of so many dishes that I love to cook up, so they are a staple in my home. In the summer, I love making up this recipe. It's called a panzanella. It's a really simple salad with crunchy croutons. I thought it would be a great idea to make a spring-inspired panzanella, still including some chunky golden croutons. So for the punchy dressing with depth, we're gonna use a few anchovies. We're gonna mix everything together. Yes.
So for our spring-inspired panzanella, we'll be needing some anchovies for the dressing, along with some asparagus, which we're just going to quickly cook. We still want that kind of crunch. And then we're going to add in some radish and some peas, some capers, and those croutons, which we'll be needing some bread. This kind of like 2-day-old, 3-day-old sourdough is perfect for the croutons that we're going to make. So for the croutons, we're just going to roughly chop up the bread and then just place them onto a baking tin and then swirl on a little bit of olive oil. I just decided to place on some dried herbs. So I used a little bit of oregano and some garlic powder, a little bit of black pepper, and just gave everything a good mix in that pan, just making sure all of the bread was covered well. I just placed them in a 180 degrees Celsius oven and just left them in there for about 10 to 12 minutes until they were crispy and golden. So for this dressing, we're going to combine some extra virgin olive oil with some red wine vinegar, some Dijon mustard, some finely grated garlic, some of those anchovies. Look at these gorgeous, gorgeous anchovies. So I opened up my tin and I just chopped them almost into a paste and I placed them into the bowl along with some salt and some pepper and just mixed everything. At this stage, I completely forgot to add in the shallots that I had chopped up and I didn't get it on camera when I did. If you can add some shallots in, it will make all the difference. So go ahead and chop up your radish. I personally love raw radish. It's not a problem for me, but I know for a lot of people it is not their thing. One way to really kind of, I guess, like mellow out the peppery taste from the radish is just to roast it. So just chop it in half, swirl on some olive oil, a little bit of salt, and just roast it, and that will completely change the flavor profile of a radish, and it will still work really, really well within this dish. Really quickly, very, very easy. We're just gonna heat a pan with a little bit of olive oil, throw our asparagus in, throw over some salt and just keep it moving for a few minutes. I prefer when my asparagus has a bite, so I just cooked it for like 3-4 minutes max. Remove those crunchy golden croutons and yeah, let's assemble this into a bowl. Place in your cooked asparagus along with that chopped radish. I used some frozen peas, which I simply just poured a little bit of hot water over them. So I did add in a few extra ingredients. So some of those pickled red onions, which we already had made, had some fresh basil leaves, and I thought that a little touch of Parmesan would be a great addition. Poured over all of that dressing. Those croutons are literally going to soak up all of that dressing. Oh my goodness. I served my spring-inspired panzanella with a couple of soft-boiled eggs. Look at these jammy eggs, and threw an extra anchovy on top because why not? I love a summer panzanella, but this spring version might be a strong contender.
So there we have it, 5 brain-boosting, skin-loving tinned fish lunch recipes. Let me know in the comments which one you are wanting to try out first. For more of my recipes, you can head over to my website and go and check out all of my ebooks. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.